Okay, I'm doing a walkthrough today. Today's Sunday, and making note of all the things that need to be done to get this project wrapped up. First, we've got trash. All the trash can be gathered into one spot, and I have someone who can haul it off. But we need to get all of this cleaned up out of the yard. We obviously got all this trash. Here, the whole backyard. All of this needs to be picked up and gathered so that we can get it hauled off. Okay, in the front, because we dug around the foundation for the paint, now has splattered onto the crawl space or foundation. So all of that needs to be cleaned off, and then these columns are supposed to be painted black. And that's including the brick here, not the top of the brick. Top of the brick is supposed to be this green. Now see, we've got other paint colors splattered, so it's going to have to be touched up. This is the seal mark paint. It's the special paint. And so these steps have to be touched up. The floor is supposed to be painted the green, so we need to get that done. Any touch up here where we've got nicks needs to be touched up. So inside we've got some electrical that needs to be tightened up. Obviously we've got to clean these floors. We need a threshold here. This needs to be put back together, this room. This needs to be sanded and finished here. This bathroom needs to be finished. I know I've got to bring the faucet, but the rest of it needs to be finished. We've still got to get the tiling done, and we've got to get the bathtub painted. Also, we need to get this, it's a fan with a light, needs to go here, need to get that done. Cover will go back on this panel after you've finished with the electrical. We still got more sanding here that needs to be done on these hardwoods. This fan was supposed to come down before we painted the ceiling. That needs to come down. We got paint splatter here that needs to be corrected. Need to get a switch plate on that. We don't have the trim inside the door. We need a threshold here in the second room to the right. Obviously got to finish putting baseboard down after we get this flooring in. This flooring will be in the middle of the week. We've got some nicks here and there in the paint in the kitchen that's going to have to be corrected. We need to get the stove installed here. We've got some paint touch-up needs to be done here. All the backsplash needs to be done here. I have acquired the quartz, and that's going to be installed this week. Need to get the vent cover put back on here. In this room, we're going to have to get the hot water heater installed. And we're going to have to put the cabinets up that are outside that need to be painted. One above the washer and dryer, one over here where the hot water heater is. Need to put the lock on this back door. It was the same lock that used to be on the front door. So wherever that is, we need to pull that out, and that needs to be put on. I know I need to add some more knobs because the ones that you pulled off, the screws were messed up, so I'll get those. We got some paint that needs to be touched up here and here. This is all in the butler's pantry. I'm gonna have to address how we're gonna fix this, because this happened when it was left out that weekend. And we need to see if we can put half of this shelf back in here so they'll have that. Stove needs to be put here in place. We need switch plate cover there. This needs to be addressed. Need switch plate cover here. Need the vent that was here to be painted, put back on. Need to get this knob, take the paint off. This is the thermostat. I don't know why we didn't cover that up, but anyway, it's covered in paint. That needs to come off. We need a thick threshold here to put so that this room can have a threshold leading down, because it steps down just a slight amount. And all of the hardwoods still have to be stained. And we need the doors put back on. All the rooms need all the trim for the doors ready. And then we need to get the tile finished on the right and left side of this wall, as well as the inset tile. We need to install the bathtub, install the vanity, install the toilet, and put the door on. And then we need to put a cover here for attic access. So that's, we need to replace this with white. Same thing here. This is in the dining room. Same thing here. Uh-oh, I don't know how we got some of this caulking on this window. That needs to come off in the living room. And I noticed we got a gap here in this window that needs to be addressed here in the dining room. And here this paint doesn't look even, so we probably need to apply some more paint there to see if that will even out. The light fixture in here is a fan that needs to be installed. If there's an issue with the paint because the old one was left up, then that needs to be addressed as well. Any paint that's on hinges needs to be cleaned off. We need a switch plate cover here in the dining room. Obviously, we need to have the doors put back on here in the kitchen, the drawers installed. And the fabricator is coming Monday or Tuesday, and depending on whether we have enough quartz for the front of this, will determine if we have to add wood to be painted for the cabinets to be complete. We've got smoke detectors that need to be installed. The smoke detectors were here. I don't see where they are, but you need to find them, and that's where we need to get those installed. And it looks like, yeah, we need to get this ceiling sanded and painted. And then I think the last thing is the back step. The back step needs to be put new concrete on the top because the bricks are unsteady. But all of this foundation needs to be pressure washed. Got all this debris needs to be picked up in the yard. Need to get a cover for this foundation entrance. And that top step, like I said, is what needs to be addressed. And that should do it. Thank you.